Coming to you from the Big Island of Hawai'i, it's the Songs and Stories Podcast. And now, here's your host, Steve Roby.
Aloha and welcome to the Songs and Stories Podcast. Thank you so much for listening. My name is Steve Roby. Let's get started. Joining me on the phone right now is Big Island singer-songwriter Lani Park. Aloha, Lani.
Aloha, Stephen. How are you today?
Great, and thanks for being a guest on Songs and Stories. I got a few questions for you today, and we'll start with a brief overview of your music career and how did you get to the Big Island?
Sure. That's a great question. Well, I started playing guitar when I was about 12 years old. And when I got to the islands, I picked up the ukulele and I've just always loved music. And when I was in college, I started doing a lot of poetry and music at the same time. So I was blessed to kind of go with that wave. And I ended up touring a lot of colleges in my 20s, like Asian American student unions and stuff like this all around the country. And they would hire me to come to their college and do some poetry and sing some of my original songs. So I was blessed to kind of do that throughout my 20s. And then I had children and a family and I settled down. But now that my kids are a little bit older, I was able to put them down since they were bigger now and pick up the guitars and the instruments again. So I started recording just on my own in my house and in my free time. And now I'm coming back to music and now I'm teaching them music. So it's been a really beautiful journey. And I got to the Big Island about, I guess it's like 4 or 5 years ago, maybe now. And I love it here. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just beautiful, isn't it?
It's so amazing. There's no place like it in the world.
Don't tell anybody though. Okay.
I know.
Anyway, let's talk a little bit about your songwriting process and where do you find your inspirations and how do you start a song?
Most of my inspirations are either from nature, my children, love, either entanglements or relationships and things that I've had, experienced along the way. But pretty much all the songs in some way or another are love songs, songs of gratitude for what we have in this life. So I think that's pretty much how they come about. And sometimes they come with like a little melody first, and sometimes the words just come and straight up I'll just write down the whole poem and then I'll find the chorus to it later. So it's always a different process or journey. And that's what I like about it. That's what keeps it magical and fun.
Do you find yourself writing something every day or is it a regular habit?
I try to, but it's not. I'm kind of like an artist that when it moves me, I'll come down and I'll write it. So whenever it comes, I'll just sit down and make myself be a channel if I have the time, So I go mostly by inspiration. But nowadays, I'm trying to be more disciplined. Yeah. But with 2 children, they come first and then I create in my spare time. Yeah.
Well, you are quite prolific and you have 3 current albums out now. How do they differ? And how did that happen?
Yeah. So basically, those 3 albums, the first one is called Grassroots. And that was just basically while I was being a mommy, I was also creating these songs in the background. So those were recorded over a span of, I guess, like 5 to 8 years. And they were just songs about Hawaii and sustainability, nature, love, and being a mother that kind of came to me throughout the years. And so that one is a real nice compilation of just island life, reggae kind music that has been like the soundtrack of my life for almost the past decade while I've been raising my children. The second one, Ke Haulani and Ke Aloha Mana, was really recorded during a very special a brief magical period in one summer when I happened to be, I met this musician on this island who was also an amazing musician and ukulele player. And we had this magical summer where we just recorded one album and it was pretty much all live. And our chemistry was amazing and our music just happened spontaneously and organically, really beautifully. Like people, every time we played together, people would just kind of gather around us and start dancing,
Nice.
So that was recorded during that one little period. And then the last one, Sweet Gold, is really more of an experimental album. And I really wanted to see what my soul and what my songs sound like without my vocals. Like, what do I sound like without my words? Because I rely so heavily on words as a poet and as a writer for so many years. I just wanted to see what would it sound like without that, you know? So that was my own experiment for myself. And that one is very much kind of influenced by my journeys around the world, like to the Valley of a Thousand Hills, South Africa. And I went to a lot of different places and heard a lot of beautiful indigenous music and tribal music. And even here on the islands, you know, with all the tribal drums going on at beaches and stuff. So that album is more like a dance album, and it's just to get an upbeat, like something you would dance to at like an ecstatic dance or something, you know, like just to get all your energy out. So that one is like that.
So do you recommend fans pick all three up at the same time? Or is it?
Well, you know, it's called the High Life Volume 1, 2, and 3. So I would suggest starting with the first one, because that's really more like the most comprehensive and the most like reflective of what my journey has been over the past few years. And then the second one, if you like romantic love songs and acoustic kind of things, that's like a beautiful, like you could play it in the background while you're giving a massage or making a tea or something. And then the last one is if you want to dance. So it depends on what kind of mood you're in.
Pick up all three, I would say. And you're all set. Well, you sent some music over for us to listen to, and I've got Milk and Honey queued up. Tell me about that track.
Oh, sweet. Thank you. Yeah. Milk and Honey is a track that I wrote while I was living over in Kealakekua on the Big Island. And I happened to be staying at a beautiful place called Whale Song Sanctuary. And I was seeing this Kane, and he was very into permaculture and planting. And so we would plant trees together all the time. And to me, that was very beautiful and sacred, like act that we would do. And it just moved me, and it made me realize, like, wow, we don't really need that much. All we need is each other and love and to plant our own trees. So that song is kind of about all that, how all we really need to sustain each other is love, and we can plant these trees and we can plant these fruits together. So that's what that song's about.
Sounds good. Well, let's give Milk and Honey a listen to here on Songs and Stories.
Aloha, y'all. This is Don May coming to you from the Big Island of Hawaii. And you're listening to Songs and Stories with your host, Stephen Roby. And I'd like to invite you over to donmayofficial.com. Check out some new music, tour dates, take a look around. We're making some great Americana music right here on the Big Island. Come check it out. I hope to see you there.
And I'm back on the phone with Lani Park, Big Island musician, singer, songwriter, and you're also a poet laureate too. Isn't that right, Lani?
Yeah, I was blessed enough to be the Poet Laureate of Queens from 2004 to 2007. I believe I was the first woman that they chose. So, that was quite a nice time in my life.
That's nice, yeah. And you've got a book that you're almost finished with, you were telling me, that's going to be published by Random House.
I'm really excited about that. That book is another one. I was pregnant about 10 years with it. It seems like I'm very prolific, but these things have really taken a lot of time. And it's just funny that it's all coming out now, you know? So I'm really excited about that book. It's called Angel and Hana, and it's a love story written in verse. So it's a novel written in sonnet form. And it's about a young Korean girl and her first love, who's a Puerto Rican boy in Brooklyn and Queens. And it's kind of got like the whole Romeo and Juliet theme, but it's bringing it to modern day. And it's just, that's coming out in 2021. So,
congratulations. I'm an author also myself, and I know it's a long journey to get to publishing day and working with editors and copywriters and all the whole bit there. So my hat's off to you.
Oh, thank you. I want to read your book too. So we're going to have to talk about that maybe later privately.
That'll be another show.
Okay.
But today we're talking about you and your music. And let's talk about some of your music influences. Who influenced you over the years, and who do you listen to now?
Bob Marley, of course, is one of my great influences for reggae music, and I was blessed to even work for Tough Gong International when I was in college back in the day.
Wow!
So I love his music and all of his family's music. Like Alex Marley is a friend of mine now, and because my birthday is May 24th, I love Bob Dylan. That's how I got into his music. I really love his storytelling and just like his message and what he has done with his music over the years. And Jack Johnson, Paula Fuga, Anuhea in terms of local influences, and really all over the map. I love Prince. I love soul, reggae, R&B. So yeah.
That's a good thing. Yeah. All good picks there. Has the pandemic, COVID-19, caused any interruptions in your music schedule this year? Did you put anything off because of these delays and these lockdowns?
Well, because of everything, I wasn't able to go out and do shows. I kind of wanted to have like a big album release party, and that ended up being an online thing. And just like everybody else, we've been affected in terms of not being able to see our audience. Mm-hmm. But it's been interesting because now I have to learn all this technology to connect with people.
Right.
And so that's kind of fun and, interesting journey because I'm such a nature girl. Sometimes like the technology part is like, oh Lord, like a headache, but it's a good journey because I have been connecting with people more that way. And I've actually even made like online sales and, I did my concert online instead. And it's good because it's challenging me to learn new ways of like communicating and connecting with people.
It's you can see it all over the world that people are now, from different parts of the world are performing online and Facebook, and we're getting to see a variety of music that we probably wouldn't have seen before.
Yeah, that's very true.
Well, I've got another track of yours queued up there. It's Seeds of Love. Tell me the backstory on this one.
Okay, yeah. Seeds of Love is one of those songs that just happened spontaneously on the spot, and this is on the Ke Haulani and Ke Aloha Mana album, the acoustic love songs album. This one was done in the 432 hertz, the love vibration, and it just happened. Like, this song literally was just recorded on the spot. It was not like rehearsed or anything, and it just happened. It ended up being, it became number one on the New Music One charts a couple times for the acoustic, and I just think it's a great testament to the fact that sometimes you don't have to overthink your songs. Sometimes they just come out naturally and organically, and they're perfect just the way they are, So this is a kind of example of like how, how sometimes you work in the studio for like hours or weeks or months on like something, and sometimes things happen beautifully in one take. So I thought this one was a good example of something that, it sounds pretty good with one take, So.
All right. Well, let's give Seeds of Love a listen to right now here on Songs and Stories. It's been a great pleasure to have you on. You're such a great guest to have. Thanks.
Oh, thank you, Stephen. It's an honor and a pleasure for me as well. So I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to me and, find out a little more and connect.
Right. It's so different than on Facebook and just being able to like or love or whatever, or write a few sentences here and there. But to hear the human voice is a great treat and get to know somebody that way.
I agree.
So let's get back to the music a little bit. How would you say your music has evolved since you first began playing music?
When I first began playing music, it was just me and an acoustic guitar for many years, and then it became just me and an ukulele for many years. So it was very simple and island-based tunes. And I think that's still the core of what I do. It always starts with either an ukulele or a guitar. But now I'm kind of branching out and experimenting with different sounds. So I'm working with people and collaborating with beats, and also just going into more spacey and sonic sounds. And I think it's good because then, I kind of want to have a diverse range of music. And I feel like this is just the beginning of the journey. And especially with Asian American people, sometimes we start later on our creative journey because we've been so pressed by our parents to just succeed financially in the world. And I'm glad that I'm finally at the point where I'm not afraid to do that anymore. And I'm really enjoying that journey. It's kind of evolving in that way where I'm using more electronics and more also I just got an electric guitar and I'm in love with her. So yeah, her name is Sage, and we were playing together all night. And I'm looking forward to collaborating with more musicians as well in the future, because mostly I've been doing everything on my own as a poet and also as a singer-songwriter. But really, like, my goal is to have a band and just hear like a bigger sound from my music, and to hear these songs with like a full band. So that's, I think, what's going to be coming next.
Well, I hope that happens real soon there. Is there something I know the book's probably taking a lot of your time, but is there something currently music-wise that you're working on?
Yeah, I'm actually working on my next album. I pray is going to be a radio-friendly reggae kind of CD. So I really want it to be something that can be, enjoyed and played on the radio here in Hawaii. And I've been collecting beats, and they've been really fun to listen to, and working with different producers and stuff. I'm excited about that one, actually, because that's the one that I feel like is going to make it on the radio. These other ones are more acoustic and more indie. But that one, I think, is going to have like the big bass and drums, and just like you could really dance to it.
All right. Yeah. Have you found local radio friendly here to playing some of your music?
You know what? To be honest, I'm such a hermit and so shy. Like, I've gotten requests and I haven't gotten them out yet. So I think I feel they are going to be receptive. It's just up to me to do the work to put it out there. So, I mean, after I put out the album, I kind of just rested for a while, but now is my big, like, I have to go out and like market these songs and stuff. So I'll do that. I think that they're ready. I have to get ready.
I know we've got one guy here on the island, Lapaka Roots, who is on Facebook and all these different social media platforms and getting his songs out here. And he does the hustle well,
I know. Lopaka is a good friend of mine. I'm always like, yo, bro, you gotta teach me some of your tricks, and tips, because he really knows what he's doing. I respect him a lot. And he's actually been very, very helpful to me just in the game and in the music industry, and giving me lots of helpful tips. So I really value him as a friend, and as a musician, I think he's great. And
yeah, he's a great guy. I hope to have him on the show one day here. I've got one last track of yours to play here. It's got a great title. It's called Romantic, and tell me more.
Yeah, Romantic was written also here on the Big Island on the Kona side. And I was like, I was just fancied this Kane, who was also an island Kane. And it just came from my feelings for him. And it's just a simple acoustic song. And it's a love song written also in the 432 love vibration that Prince talks about. So, it's just a beautiful love song that is to somebody beautiful.
Simple and right to the point.
Yeah. And this one also made number one on the acoustic charts on the New Music One. So
That's
I
great.
guess prove that, you don't need a lot. You just need your heart, your song, and, your soul.
Yeah, congratulations on that. And also thank you once again for being on the Songs and Stories podcast. And I hope we can meet someday in person after this meeting.
Yeah, I really look forward to that.
Yeah. Well, let's give Romantic a listen to here on Songs and Story. And again, thanks for being a guest.
Thank you. Aloha, Stephen.
Got me feeling romantic. Got me feeling like candlelight and roses, like purple fats and lavender, guitar and wine, moonlight, like waterfall, where we can do it all in love. Sweet garden, you got me feeling like packing trees. Vanilla, cacao, cocoa, and honey down my back. Got me feeling like tulips and bees, like sacred tall trees, like legend, like queen, like love, sweet love,
Hey, what's good, everyone? This is Jazz Ka'ivi Ko'o, and you're listening to the Songs and Stories podcast. Hey, please follow me and subscribe to my new YouTube channel at Jazz Ka'ivi Ko'o, and also check out my new CD, Lo-Fi Grits, as well as other productions that I've done at jazztheproducer.com. As one Z, peace.
Hey, Big Island music fans. Would you like to be part of the podcast? If you go to our website, bigislandmusic.net, you can record a comment about the show or tell us about a musician you'd like to see interviewed. Just click on the microphone icon and start recording. Your comments might be included in a future podcast. So head over to bigislandmusic.net. We'd love to hear from you.
I just like everything about it.
Thanks for listening to Songs and Stories. You can find episodes on Apple Podcast and listen or download for free. New episodes are available every Thursday. Songs and Stories is produced by Big Island Music Magazine. Find us on the web at bigislandmusic.net. Be sure to follow us on Facebook. I'll see you next week on Songs and Stories. Aloha.
Thanks for listening to the Songs and Stories podcast. Make sure you never miss a show by clicking the subscribe button now. This podcast is made possible by listeners like you. Thank you for your support. We'll see you next week on Songs and Stories. Aloha.